is the Doublet Special Master.
Live and direct.
Breakfast with CubCamTV.
Trickstar Radio.
What's happening, people? We're back inside the building once again. Welcome back to Breakfast with Kovu as we jump into another edition of the Interview Hour, where we look at different artists and producers and just general figures from music around the world. Today we're staying in the UK and we're going to be talking to someone I've got so much time for, one of the most impressive MCs out there right about now. Frankie Staywoke is on the line. How are you doing this morning?
Hello, good morning. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to get you on the show. We've had this one locked in for a few weeks at this point, I think. So it's one I've been looking forward to getting into. First of all, how's your morning going?
Yeah, it's going well. It's not long started, but can't complain.
There we go. That's what we love to hear. It's always a good thing. It's always a good thing when the convos start off like that. So we're going to be getting into a bit of kind of background about yourself and obviously looking into your sort of musical history more than anything else. So with this show, we tend to get people from so many different areas of underground music. Do you want to kind of talk us through your sort of introduction to essentially being a vocalist more than anything else?
Yeah, well, I started in 2018, I'd say. If anything, just a hobby. I used to kind of just sing and stuff back in the day. Had been in a group and kind of gone through the whole process of, meeting labels, being signed and so on, but it didn't really work out. So I took some time out and kind of just lived a normal life for a while, 9 to 5. And then, towards the end of 2017, I just found a real appreciation for like rap, grime, where I hadn't really had that before. And I just, really got into it, and it was just something I discovered I could do. And so just kind of ran with it, to be honest, and never really planned for it to be a career or anything professional. It really was just a hobby, but things happen, and I just fell in love with it, kind of thing, and it just led me here.
Amazing, man. So it's been quite an organic kind of growth more than anything else.
Yeah, very, very much so. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. I mean, so when we're kind of looking at that difference between, I suppose, a more sort of commercial, more sort of corporate approach to the sort of music industry, obviously going and meeting with label execs and all that sort of stuff, what's the main sort of difference you've noticed with basically focusing on the MCing side of things rather than the singing?
Like you said, for me, it's a lot more organic because previously, where I was doing all that kind of stuff, it was very planned out, premeditated. There was like a structure of what we had to do, kind of thing. Was in the studio for a long time, had deadlines to meet and stuff like that. Whereas because of the way I kind of came up on this myself, it is very organic for me all around in regards of how I've made connections, how I've developed and so on, and opportunities have opened up for me. It's just I never really know what's going to happen next, but I kind of love that at the same time. Yeah,
100%. There's almost a bit more kind of a bit more excitement to it. It's a little bit more like you're waiting for things to happen rather than knowing like 6 months in advance you're going to have a studio session in that studio with that guy. And there's definitely something to be said for that.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, so it's a very different feeling. Had fun both ways, but it's a very, very different feeling. But I definitely am taking it in my stride now because I feel just like I kind of found my niche kind of thing. So I'm running with it.
Awesome. Well, when we're looking kind of through that sort of niche, obviously you've been working very closely with the rest of Female All Stars for quite a while now. Do you want to tell me how that sort of situation first came into kind of being? Because I've spoken to Shocker on this show and I've spoken to Miz on this show. It's really interesting to hear everyone's sort of stories behind how it came together. Yeah, no, well, it was really crazy time for me because I really was proper new to this when I met them. Whereas as Miz and Shocker had kind of been in the game for a little while, I had a bit more experience, where I was just a complete new fish. So we got brought together like on a platform, Girls of Grime, and basically did a few radio circuits together, did a little showcase and stuff. So the first time I met them was at Rinse FM, and it was like the first kind of Girls of Grime radio set, kind of introducing everyone. And it was my first radio set ever. So I really was just like in a deep end, never been in it before. Didn't know what was going to happen. What's going through your head at that point then? Obviously, diving into that sort of classic scenario.
I was scared, yeah. I was really nervous, I'm not going to lie, because sitting in my bedroom MCing was a very different, different thing. And then, next thing I'm getting invited and I'm like, what, me? Like, because I'm thinking, wow, am I that good? Like, why? Like, I was just really, it was really overwhelming. And then, going there and kind of seeing the atmosphere and stuff, and then actually seeing the other girls in action, it was like, oh my gosh, am I going to am I going to live up to this kind of thing? But yeah, I just did it, innit? I just threw myself in the deep end and did it. But I was really nervous. I won't lie.
Yeah, no, I can imagine, and I think there's something about grime as well, especially with that sort of rinse scenario. There's been so many kind of classic
energy,
things that have happened in that room, in that scenario, that station, that frequency, all of that. So you're now a part of that legacy to an extent.
Yeah, and it kind of happened really just unexpectedly and quickly. And yeah, like I just didn't see it coming, to be honest. But yeah, I've loved every minute of it, to be honest. Like the energy, when you're in it, the energy is just, it's amazing. So you kind of just get caught up in that and forget about everything else. Do you know what I mean?
100%. And I think that again, that kind of ties back into that thing of being organic as well, which is such a thing. It's so
exactly.
so woven into grime, especially.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I kind of learned about it coming into it. And yeah, it's definitely somewhere I never thought I'd be, but I'm very happy I found it.
100%. Well, it's great to see. And obviously, you guys have been putting together some fantastic stuff. You've recently had an EP out, which has done absolute bits. Talk to me about your sort of process and your kind of involvement with that.
Is that with the EP?
Yeah, with the EP.
Yeah, so that kind of came about unexpectedly as well. But we've all just been completely chuffed the whole way through the whole process. It was just a random thing. Like one day, I think it was Lady Shocker that tweeted saying, we'd love to do kind of a collab with JME. And he literally just replied straight away. And none of us was expecting it, but it was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it was like, even the EP wasn't originally planned. It was just a collab, but it kind of turned into an EP, as it developed along the way. And yeah, we're so thankful to JME, man, because he's just been so cool along the way. He's so easy to work with, and he's just a lovely guy, do you know what I mean? And it's just been a wicked process for all of us. When the EP dropped, we were just so happy. Like, it was just a big achievement, a big milestone for us.
100%, yeah.
But yeah, it was, we got visuals in the pipe works as well. So, keep an eye out for that, because we should have visuals coming soon. But yeah, man, it's never, again, it's not something that we expected to happen, but we do all feel like we deserve it. We've put in a lot of work, and yeah, it just, goes to show like our progress.
100%. Yeah, when it's clear to see the work's being put in as well. We always see like how active you guys are.
Yeah, never stop, man.
100%. It has to be done, and I think as well with that, something I'd like to ask, because obviously there are so many people that would love to get into that studio scenario with JME. The guy's a legend of UK music. Realistically, he's one of those sort of forerunners that did kind of pave the way for a lot of people. If there was one thing you kind of learnt from being in that environment with him, what was it?
So to be honest, we weren't actually in the studio with JME. The whole process of the EP was over, obviously over the lockdown period.
Oh yeah, of course.
So we didn't actually really get to meet up with him in the studio. What he did is he recorded his vocals. We kept communication the whole way through. He recorded his vocals, sent them over to us, and so on. And that's kind of how we put it together. So we didn't get the chance to be in the studio with him. But still, even so, his presence was still very much there. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, he's kept communication the whole way through, and he's just been very lovely and easy to work alongside with. So even though we didn't get that chance, it still feels like we did.
Yeah, no, entirely.
Yeah, he's been involved in it. So yeah, it still feels like we did. And yeah, could it be more happier, to be honest? Couldn't ask anything more.
100%. Yeah, it's really, really interesting to kind of see that progression. And obviously, we are going to get into some music this morning, which I'm really looking forward to doing. We have got a tune on the way from yourself and 10 Dicks, and it goes by the name of Staywoke, obviously named after yourself. Talk to me about this one and how it came together.
Yeah, so that was like the first track I actually released.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so hence the name Staywoke. I kind of wanted it to be like an introduction track almost. And yeah, that kind of just... Again, it just came together. Wasn't even planned, 10 Dixon was nice enough to kind of do the hook for me. Like, it's actually something he kind of did and then let me know, like, oh yeah, I did this hook for you kind of thing. Because at the time, I was kind of building up my music and trying to like build up a song to release and so on. So yeah, send that over to me and I kind of built the track around it. And yeah, let it out and a lot of it had a good reaction. And it was just something that I kind of just wanted to show myself on, to be honest. It was the first thing that I put out, So I've got a very conscious side as well as the grimy side. So I'd say that song's leaning more towards the conscious side of him.
Amazing. Well, we're going to get into this one right about now. It's just gone 12 minutes past 9 here on Trickstar Radio. We are live on the line with Frankie Staywoke this morning. It's Breakfast with KXVU, and it's time for the interview hours. We continue these conversations with different artists from around the UK. Keep it locked and don't go anywhere. We're in the building till 10. Oh, yes.
This is Breakfast with KXVU, bringing you their morning flavours on Trickstar Radio.
Trickstar Radio.